Good evening, everybody, and welcome to our council meeting, April 23rd, 2024. Let's get right down to business. We have a proclamation, folks. We have an agenda before you, a few people in the audience, some good attendance. Unfortunately, today we're missing Councillor Rice, Deputy Mayor Kiley, and Councillor Lane, and there's an item there related to debt, which we'll have to defer for 2 weeks' time, just because we need to make sure we live up to the regulations according to the City of Mount Pearl, which requires more in attendance. Otherwise, I believe, folks, the agenda is ready to go. And I'll take a motion, please. Moved by the lone councillor on the left side, Councillor Antle, and seconded by Councillor Fry. All in favor of the agenda? Those opposed? And that is carried. Thank you so much. Let me read the Lens acknowledgement to start the meeting. We begin today's public council meeting by respectfully acknowledging the province of Newfoundland and Labrador as the ancestral homelands of many diverse populations of Indigenous peoples, including the Beothuk, who have contributed to 9,000 years of history on the island of Newfoundland. Today, this province is home to diverse populations of Indigenous and other people. We acknowledge, with respect, the diverse histories and cultures of the Mi'kmaq, Innu, and Inuit. We honor this beautiful land together as we strive for collective healing and true reconciliation. All right, now we're off to a good start. Council, before you is the minutes from the previous council meeting on April 9th. Is there any errors or omissions before we ask you to adopt? Hearing none. I see a motion from Councillor Locke. Thank you. And second by Councillor Fry. All in favor of accepting those minutes? Those opposed? And that motion's carried. Council, any business arising? Please quote the item number. I'm going to say it. All right. Shall we move forward? We're deferring the Huntington's proclamation, which is more May-centered, let's say, to next week, and that's already been taken care of. But we're adding an agenda item here for a proclamation related to World Maternal Mental Health Day, representing the Perinatal Mental Health Alliance of Newfoundland and Labrador. We have Dr. Archana Vijayasankar here. So I'd like to welcome you, Doctor, to join us. Once I read the proclamation, come up now if you'd like, and we'll have you speak to it if that works for you. Thank you for your attendance. World Maternal Mental Health Day is May 1st, 2024. And whereas pregnancy and childbirth or adoption and the infant's first year of life should be a period of joy and bonding for the entire family. And whereas 28% of mothers in Newfoundland and Labrador will experience a significant mood disorder during and after pregnancy, possibly leading to a more severe mental illness. And whereas untreated, those mood disorders may lead to premature labor, admission to the neonatal intensive care unit, increased risks of obstetrical complications, lower breastfeeding rates, and poor fetal and infant outcomes, potential cognitive, emotional, and behavioral impairments, and in rare cases, even to suicide. And whereas there are professionals and peers in Newfoundland and Labrador who can assist parents and families deal with their mood disorders, and whereas the Perinatal Mental Health Alliance of Newfoundland and Labrador has been created to improve the care provided to birthing persons and their families. Therefore, I, the Mayor of Mount Pearl, on behalf of my colleagues on council, we do hereby proclaim May 1st of 2024 as World Mental Health Day here in the city of Mount Pearl. And I'll sign that, folks, on your behalf, dated today. I note the colors are purple, teal, green, multicolored. Welcome, Doctor. Good to see you. And would you care to comment? We'd love to hear from you.
Thank you, Mayor Aker and council members, for your time today. I really do appreciate it. World Maternal Mental Health Day is a very important day globally. And in Canada, our rates of perinatal mood and anxiety disorders are 20%. But unfortunately, here in the province, we are at 28% of parents, especially mothers in research, who experience mood and anxiety disorders and conditions during their pregnancy and postpartum journey. This is significant, again, one of the highest rates in Canada. This is for so many reasons, whether it's feelings of isolation, stigma, awareness, education, training, access to supports, counseling, therapy. Rarely does it get to psychiatric levels, but we are here if the need is there. The Perinatal Mental Health Alliance was started in 2020 during the pandemic, actually. And our goals are to increase awareness, education, support, coordination for those parents who are looking for support and needs. It is very hard to find resources this day and age, and we aim to convene all of that in one helpful space, as well as, advocate towards government and communities to increase supports for perinatal mood and anxiety disorders and for young families and parents across the province. So I thank you for your time. We are looking forward to great change in the province. There is a government task force now dedicated for perinatal mental health, thanks to the Perinatal Mental Health Alliance and the great work that they do. So we look forward to improving the health and wellness for generations to come in our province of Newfoundland and Labrador. So thank you.
No, thank you for coming. Council, or anybody in the room, any questions or comments they'd like? Councillor Fry?
I don't have a question because you answered it all so well. I just want to say how happy I am to see this finally. And I know 2020 during COVID was a difficult time for a lot of people from a mental health perspective, but I can only imagine the people who have been suffering. And the sad thing is the stigma still exists. So to have this proclamation like this, where it's talked about and where people are aware of it, is a step closer to reducing that stigma. So I thank you. Thank you for doing this.
Absolutely. Thank you. And thank you to the City of Mount Pearl, the first municipality in the province to be signing this proclamation. So really appreciate it. Thank you so much for your support.
Okay, let's do a little picture. Perhaps we can promote it. If we were to light up City Hall on May 1st, what color?
All of these multicolors. If we can do
I'm looking over at a certain director who is still in his chair.
I know that the one of the buildings in Parliament will be in St.
John. Teal it is. We've done teal before. Let's do a picture. And thanks again for coming in. Jim, he can be cropped. All right, council, we have the corporate services and public works report, a lot of routine items here. We're deleting one for deferral, but Committee members are absent at this time due to unforeseen circumstances, so I'm going to ask Councillor Antle to deliver, and I think Councillor Locke, you're the third on the committee. You will be the seconder. Thank you much. All yours, Councillor Antle.
Thank you, Your Worship. I'll do the first five, and then I'll pass on to my colleague, Councillor Locke. The first one on this committee is invoices for approval. And you see there's 17 indicate totaling of $847,031.60. And just to break out a couple of those, the biggest one there is for Avalon Cold and Salt for $372,026.07. Hopefully that's the end of that one for this year. And water consumption for City of St. John's for March was $226,190.06. And I so move.
It is moved by Councillor Antle, yes, and seconded by Councillor Locke. Thank you. Questions, Council? I have a comment because I've been reading lately that salt usage, because of climate change, is declining. Director, and I'm thinking colder climates would be impacted first. Those that, but maybe our climate too. I'm just curious what your take on it is. I'm getting the look that we have not got that experience to confirm what the mayor has read, but I'm just curious, with warming temperatures, would we not, in the longer run, perhaps use less salt?
That's a great question. I don't know if I'm prepared to answer it right now, but I think what we've seen in the change over the past 10, 20, 30 years when it comes to climate change is, yes, it seems to be maybe less colder weather, but more extremes and from one extreme to the other, which really may not help our salt consumption because it all depends on, what's falling, whether it's ice, snow, sleet. But it's a great question, and I don't know, in the future how it's going to roll out. But we haven't really seen any significant change in our salt usage in the past number of years based on any climate change to date.
Yeah, no, okay, that's fair. And I did put you on the spot, but we always appreciate your counsel and your experience. And I would think that some municipalities in very cold climates that don't use salt right now, as temperatures begin to rise, will probably end up using more salt at the end of the day. We're kind of in that zone from -2 to 2 degrees on a regular basis, and the weather's sloppy. It goes from cold to warm, never hot. But we do use a lot of salt. So unfortunately, it's an expenditure that we have to make that is warranted because the safety of our residents and our businesses, it's key in the whole thing. I'm going to call the question. All in favor? And those opposed? And that's carried as well. Back to you, Councillor Antle.
Thank you, Your Worship. Number two is our payment register and purchase card, and this is for the information of council for April 4th to the 17th. Our payment register totaled $1,599,672.85. And the purchase card report for February 26th to March 25th, 2024 totaled $691,636.13. And I won't go through all them, but they're in your kit, and that's for your information only. There's no. Questions? So, just scrolling down here, there's a lot. Run out of paper. Number three, it's a request for tax consideration. This is something we do every year for our 2024 business taxes in accordance with our policy for charitable and nonprofit organizations. For the following, Skills Canada, Newfoundland and Labrador, it's 100% business for $792.20. Mount Pearl Paradise Chamber of Commerce, business 100%, $731.55. Vision Employment, that's 100% business for $5,987.59. Co-op Housing, 100% business for $1,406.66. Channel for 100% business for $4,739.82. Canadian Diabetes Association, total 100% business for $1,880.50. Sonic Park for the property tax, $76,157.47. Sonic Lodge for the property tax 60% for $10,152.62. Sonic Park to Freemason Hall is 100% business for $24,699.26. For the SPCA, 100% business for $5,309.45. And for Metro Business Opportunities Business for $3,483.13. And no motion for that? Oh, and I so move.
Thank you. Moved again by Counselor Randall, second by Counselor Locke. And this is something what I spoke to a little bit yesterday, in a volunteer reception here in the city. And this is how the city does provide some of its assistance for like a volunteer organization like the Canadian Diabetes Association or the Masonic Park or the SPCA. These organizations, they operate fundamentally using volunteers. But our role as a city sometimes is to provide facilities, tax considerations. In the case of sporting groups, it's grants. And in the case of legacy, we might provide some assistance in some of our legacy funding in that, right? So there you have it. I think this is really good. This is a real contribution back from the city to our community. Any questions, council? Hearing none. I'll call the question. All in favor? And those opposed? Motion carried. Back to you.
And 4 and 5 are very similar. A request for professional travel for Director Glenn Dalmont. The Corporate Services and Public Works Committee recommend a request for professional development travel by Director Glenn Dalmont to attend the Canadian Public Works Association Spring Conference in Corner Brook from May 8th to 10th to be approved, and I so move.
Thank you. Moved by Counselor Randall, second by Counselor Locke. All in favor? Question carried. Nobody's opposed, right? Thank you. Carried.
And number 5, and the last one for me, is a request for travel to U.S. Indoor Recreation Facilities for Councillor Lane and CAO Dana Spurl. As supported by the Committee of the Whole at the meeting of April 9th, 2024, the Corporate Service and Public Works Committee recommends approval of Councillor Lane's and CAO Dana Spurl's request to travel for the U.S. Indoor Recreation Facilities Conference in Florida from April 29th to May 2nd, 2024, and I so move.
Thank you for Councilors Antle and Locke. All in favor? And those opposed? Carried. And number 6 is being deferred.
Thank you, Mayor. And I'll pick up with number 7 here. This is a contract recommendation for the city's urban forestry plan, phase 3, and I'm delighted to bring this in. The tender for our urban forestry plan includes the supply, installation, and maintenance of trees at the Team Gushu Complex and Arena Road in Mount Pearl. And the details are 18 deciduous and 7 coniferous trees, soil, mulch, and staking, 68 shrubs, soil mulch, and the maintenance of all plantings for 14 months. This tender was issued on February the 19th, and the tender closed on March 12th, and 5 bids were received, Mayor. The lowest qualified bidder was O'Neill's Garden Land Limited for the bid amount of $49,450, and that includes HST. And the Corporate Services and Public Works Committee is recommending approval for the contract for our urban forestry plan, phase 3. As I said, for the supply, installation, and maintenance of trees at Team Gushu Sports Complex and Arena Road to be awarded to the lowest qualified bidder, O'Neill's Garden Land Limited. And again, the bid amount, $49,450, HST included. This, of course, is within our budget, and I so move.
It is moved by Counselor Locke. Thank you. Second by Counselor Antle. All in favor, assuming there's no, sorry. Any questions? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Contraminded? Carried.
Thank you, Mayor. Our next item is a contract recommendation.
Can I stop you for a second?
Sure,
I
indeed.
just have to ask a question to the CAO. Do we have the same issue with this? There's some pre-commitment going on here because of the nature of the purchase. Do we have it at a budget? That's my question. Thoughts?
I think we're fine with this one because it's pending budget approval. The pre-commitment won't move forward without budget approval.
So then it needs a budget approval. 2025. Will the machine be delivered before the end of the year? Likely. Okay, thank you much. Over to you, sir, for the motion.
Thank you, Mayor. This recommendation has to do with battery ice resurfacers. The tender for 2 battery-powered ice resurfacers, which includes the supply and delivery of 2 battery-powered ice resurfacers, 1 for the 2024 delivery and 1 for 2025 delivery. That was issued on January the 30th of 2024. The tender closed on the 22nd of February of 2024, and a total of 3 bids was received. The lowest qualified bidder was Engo Equipment Sales Incorporated for the bid amount of $374,387.10. This is inclusive of HST. And the department is recommending that the contract be awarded, again, to Engo Equipment Sales Incorporated. And the Corporate Services and Public Works Committee also supported approving this contract for the stated amount. So I'll just review it again. It's for the supply and delivery of 2 battery-powered ice resurfacers to be awarded to the lowest qualified bidder, Engo Equipment Sales Incorporated, for the bid amount of $187,193.55 for each of 2024 and 2025, bringing the total, as aforestated, $374,387.10, including HST. The 2024 expenditure is within budget, and the 2025 will be within the assigned budget pending final budget approval by council, and I so move.
Again, moved by Counselor Locke, second by Counselor Antle. Any questions? I'll call the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Carried.
Thank you, Mayor. The next is a contract recommendation for a salt truck. Speaking of salt a little earlier, this tender is for 1 salt truck, which includes the supply and delivery of one 2024 or newer 4x2 wheel drive, dual rear wheel drive, low profile truck with landscape body and salt spreading unit mounted on landscape body. And this again was issued on the 19th of February of 2024. The tender closed on the 13th of March of 24, and 1 bid was received from a qualified bidder, Harvey and Company Limited, for the bid amount of $214,123.33. This includes HST. And the Corporate Services and Public Works Committee, following the departmental recommendation, recommends approval for the contract for the supply and delivery of this salt truck. Again, the bid amount is $214,123.33. And again, this is within our fleet plan budget, and I so move.
It is moved by Counselor Locke, seconded by Counselor Antle. Any questions? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All in favor? Those opposed? Carried. Thanks. Yep, I want to thank you all for pinch hitting here today. Now we'll turn our attention to the Planning, Engineering, and Development Committee. No. Is that the next one? No, it's Recreation and Community Safety. Counselor Locke, you're back up.
Thank you, Mayor. The first item for our committee is the great news, the 10th annual Down Home Expo. Amazing that it's 10 years already. We're pleased to host again this annual Down Home Expo at the Glacier, and it'll be on May 3rd and 4th. It's the largest consumer trade show in Newfoundland and Labrador, filling both arenas with games, giveaways, a children's play area, and more than 100 exhibitors selling a wide variety of items. So for further information, you can check out their website for greater details at downhomeexpo.com. The second item is our Youth Week, May 1st to the 7th of 2024. And of course, we celebrate with great pride the youth and the great value that the youth of the city of Mount Pearl bring to our community. So celebrate Youth Week 2024 with free activities and events taking place at the Youth Read Center, Summit Center, and the Glacier Arena. And please visit the city's website and Facebook page for further details and further information. The third one I will take is our 20-minute makeover. The city's annual 20-minute makeover is taking place during May and June. Sorry. Residents, businesses, and schools are encouraged to clean up their gardens, neighborhoods, and community playgrounds. And we all know after the winter, we can see some of the litter that's around, and many hands make light work. So we're encouraging our residents to take some pride in the Pearl, get out and help us polish the Pearl. Free bags and gloves will be available to all who are interested in participating, and they can certainly pick them up here at City Hall, the Summit Center, and the Reed Community Center. Those interested in participating can reach out to our community events coordinators to arrange bag and glove pickup, and that's always a great initiative. And that's it for my part on this report. Mayor, I'll turn it over now to Councillor Fry.
Thank you, Councillor Locke. Next on our agenda is Campia Gymnastics, the 2024 Provincial Gymnastics Championship. So we just want to say a huge congratulations to Campia Gymnastics for the planning and hosting of this 2024 Provincial Championships on April the 12th to the 14th. It was a great success with athletes in attendance from all over Newfoundland and Labrador. And congratulations are also extended to all of the athletes, coaches, parents, and anyone who contributed to this championship. And finally, for us, we want to extend a big thank you to all of the volunteers throughout our city. As everyone knows, National Volunteer Week was April the 14th to the 20th with the theme, Every Moment Matters, and it really does. And our volunteers throughout the city, they do such great work, and they give so much back to our residents. So every volunteer and each contribution that you make, whether it's through a community group or just doing something for your neighbor or somebody down the street, sharing of time, skills, empathy, and creativity is vital to the inclusion, strength, and well-being of our community. And it's because of our volunteers that we have such community spirit, and we really are thriving. So a huge thank you to everyone, to all of our volunteers, big, small, community groups, everybody. And that's it for me, Your Worship. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next is the Planning, Engineering, and Development Committee report. Councillor Andrews will take the lead. I'm going to call upon you, Councillor Fry, if you would, to second any motions. Back over to you, Councillor Andrews.
Perfect. Thank you. The first one is for the building and occupancy permit list from March the 11th to March 22nd. The first one is our building construction residential. There's 6 there in your kit for a total of $70,600, and I so move.
Moved by Councillor Antle, second by Councillor Fry. All in favor? Those opposed? Carried.
The second one is building construction commercial. There's 2 there for a total of $278,000, and I so move.
Moved by Councillor Antle again and second by Councillor Fry. Any questions? All in favor? Those opposed? Carried.
And the occupancy permit issues there is for your FYI. I don't think there's any motion needed for that, but also move.
Moved again by Councillor Antle. Thank you. Second by Councillor Fry. All in favor again. Motion carried. Yes, thank you. Bye.
There we go. Development permit list from March 14th to April the 5th. There's 4 there in your kit, and I so move.
Moved by Councillor Antle, second by Councillor Fry again. All in favor? Contrary-minded? Thank you. Carried.
Moving right along here. Number 3 is our capital projects update list. And as you know, our construction season has started. The tender for asphalt and concrete repairs was closed in April 2024. The request for proposal for engineering service for design on Holden Street and upgrading, that will be closed April 2024. There's a request for proposal for engineering services for design of Jackman Drive, upgrading and public consultation. And that will close April 2024. Construction has resumed on Birch Avenue, Farrell Drive, soon start on Carroll Drive, and we're sent out notifications to the residents. And Olympic Drive will be starting in May. And that's everything for our report, Your Worship.
Well delivered. Thanks you for pinch hitting. I'm just curious, the update's not here unless I've misread it. I was going to ask Director Antle. When is line painting scheduled? Is that going to be typically more closer to June than it is April?
Thank you, Your Worship. Line painting should start before June or April, so we are working on schedules right now for the main first areas of the cities. We have a schedule within our contract. Once we have that established and confirmed, we'll share that with council and bring it to a public council meeting.
Perfect. Thank you. But the contract's already awarded, a multi-year contract. And it's just a matter now of establishing when and asking for the cooperation of the weather. Okay. Thank you much. And I think that is the end of our agenda. Is council inclined to cancel the roundtable tonight? Well, we can have a quick roundtable. We're making good time. I think Councillor Locke will be first, and I know we have another event tonight. Councillor Locke, we are starting the Don Johnson Cup with the hosts, Mount Pearl Junior Blades.
Thank you, Mayor. I just had a couple of quick ones. First, I want to acknowledge the Mount Pearl Minor Hockey's induction into the Hall of Fame this past weekend. It was great to see so many worthy candidates being named into the Hall. And just to acknowledge, I think it was acknowledged several times that Mount Pearl Minor Hockey Association is the only, if not one of the very few associations with such an activity. And it was just so nice to see all the history in the room. And I know Councillor Fry just spoke to volunteerism and how that makes the city of Mount Pearl the community that it is. And Mount Pearl Minor Hockey Association will celebrate 50 years next year. So the work they've done, the impact they've had, coaches, trainers, managers, hockey moms, hockey dads, it's immeasurable. So I just want to send out a huge congratulations to all inducted and also to the Mount Pearl Minor Hockey Association for the great work that you do. And the second one, Mayor, I just want to acknowledge the fine job that you did at the Mayor's Outlook a couple of weeks back. You delivered the message quite well. The future is very bright in the city of Mount Pearl. And of course, kudos to our staff as well that helped in the preparation of your presentation. It went over very well. We got great feedback. So again, I just want to thank the staff, but also to our esteemed mayor who always does a great job at representing our city. I just want to send you kudos as well. That's it, Mayor. Thank you.
Yep, thank you. Appreciate that. It was a real team effort. I think it reflects a lot of planning and energy that I've seen around this table from council and senior management and all of our staff. So it's great to hear that. And I'd only accept that compliment on behalf of the entire city of Mount Pearl and all of our council here in attendance tonight and those that are missing. Over to Councillor Antle.
First of all, I'll have two fast ones. And the first one has to do with World Earth Day. And it's part of the planning team. World Earth Day was April the 22nd, all right? And this year, the World Earth Day theme was planet versus plastics. And one of the things, the aim was to bring attention to how, as you see, the series of glass pollution and how it harms the earth and how we can all do our little bit of part by reducing plastics. It's just so simple. I watched an article last night on TV about plastic straws. And it takes decades for them to rot, if they ever rot at all. So, if you just turn away from using a paper straw to help out the environment, we can all do our little things to help. And here at the city, our city always has a green lens on everything we do. We work closely with all stakeholders to recognize our river, our Waterford River. We work closely with Conservation Corps. We continue a stronger focus on water conservation with our leak detection team. That's continual. And climate change projects. We'll always have a climate change project on the go with LED lighting. And the last thing for me, Your Worship, is the Don Johnson Cup. We all can't wait to get to the Don Johnson Cup tonight. It starts tonight at 7:30. There's 5 teams playing. There's New Brunswick, PEI, St. John's, Nova Scotia, and of course, our team, Mount Pearl. Everybody can drop by. I mean, it's $10. It's a great hockey. You know, we don't have no hockey left here on the Avalon, and this is fabulous hockey to go see. And we're going to be up there to cheer on the Blades as much as we possibly can. For $10, you won't get a better piece of entertainment. And that's everything for me, Your Worship.
Well said. Look forward to the opening ceremony. All the maritime teams are coming in today. Tonight, it's Caps versus Blades. I did invite Mayor Breen, but he can't make it. So maybe we'll have to see the outcome of the game and talk about that later. Over to you, Councillor Fry.
Thank you, Your Worship. Only one thing for me this evening, and I know Councillor Locke touched on it earlier, and that's about our Youth Week that's coming up next week. And, we have such amazing youth here in our city, and far too often they get forgotten, but not here. So every year we have a youth week for them, and some of the events that are planned, it looks amazing. I know the details are going to be on our website and Facebook page, but just to highlight a couple, things like a ping pong tournament and a paint night and a swim-in movie, cornhole and pizza party, free swimming, Qs and Cruisers pool tournament. They can work out free at the Summit Fitness Center between the ages of 13 and 17. Like, so many wonderful things, and I encourage all of our youth to come out. And most of this, I believe it's all, is there any cost for any of this? Nope, everything's free. So we encourage everybody to come out and take part and enjoy. And that's it for me, Your Worship.
Well, thank you very, very much. I don't really have anything to add to what council has already said, but I do acknowledge the fact that we always seem to honor those members of our community, whether they're the youth. Today we honored the seniors as part of a volunteer function, or hockey. But I think the city is really well in touch with its residents at the end of the day, and got a good relationship with all the groups. I know Director Collins has got quite a few meetings in the queue. It'll be through the sports here in Mount Pearl to have a chat with all of them. And I think I want to congratulate council and staff being so well grounded and working together to ensure that what happens here in the city puts our residents and our businesses first. And I think that's most important. So having said all that, I'm going to call for a motion so we can get back to the regular work of the city and committee. And on a motion of Councillor Fry, second by Councillor Locke, we are adjourned. Thank you.